So we start here with the legacy of queer pre-Colombian art. This first image is something for me very dearly, that it's the Pachamama. Pacha means earth and mama it's mother, so the earth in general. And so let's start. If you have any questions, please ask me. Somebody make me notice that there's a question or something, please. Okay, this first map, it's kind of important. I know that maybe it's annoying for some of you, but it's important from what I'm going to say. Here we have a map of Central and South America with the places of the most known empires. And you have in Central America, you have the Mayas and the Aztecas, and here in South America, you can see the Incas and how big there was. So this is important because it plays a big role of how come the colony affected us, in which amount. Because as you can see, all these places were empires. So when the Spanish people came, they had to pretty much exterminate everything we got. And that's why there's a bunch of art that we cannot find it. We have pieces of it because it's not in the map anymore, because of it wasn't according to the Catholic religion and the people coming in here. Okay, this is the Andean cosmovision. And as you can see on the right, you can see Hanan Pacha. That's the space of above. The Kai Pacha, that's the earth, so to speak, like the present, and the Uku Pacha, that it's the kingdom of the underground. So one thing that you should know to understand all this stuff is that the Andean people had only, they didn't believe in hell or the heaven or whatever. They believed that everything occurred here in this present, past, and future moment. So for them, space and time was almost the same thing. You have goddesses that are on goddess that are from Hanan Pacha, and that, for example, is the Inti, that's the sun. You have the moon. From Kai Pacha, you have other kind of gods that were for example, the animals, like the serpent, the jaguar, I think you call it, but here is called Otorongo. And in the Uku Pacha, it was the kingdom from the seas or underground, but it didn't mean at all that it has to do with hell or anything like that. And the part of the idea on how they saw things is that we were all connected to each other, with the nature, with the flora, with the fauna. We were all one. That's why it's important to get that from the beginning. The Maya cosmovision, as you see, it's almost the same thing. It's just that in this bottom part, it was guarded by warriors, and they have a constant, I wouldn't say fight, but a constant struggle with the people that end up over there, you know? So it's different, but at the end, we work also with the same clock kind of stuff. So, yeah. Okay. I like this god in particular, and I'm putting it here because it's the Chuquichinchai, okay? And that's a god that was represented by a jaguar. And the thing is that this god was in charge of the rains and to the fertility, okay, like the water, but in form of rain. And also when they got upset, you had all this granizo. This is like snow, this harder snow, I don't know how you say it, that will freeze everything and they couldn't eat a thing. The interesting thing about this is that in the temple of Chuquichinchai, you had the priests, the people doing the ceremony were called the Jarawarmi. Hari is a word for men, and warmi is woman. And they were non-binary shamans, and that was the only way that there could be shamans over there. So it was pretty important, and the whole idea of these shamans was that they could understand both of the sides, and they could understand more of they could really sorry, I just saw that somebody's in the chat. I don't know if you're talking to me. Granizo, thank you. Sleep or hail, thank you very much. And if you were part of these shamans in that place, you were almost also like a god, and you had to be there and do all the ceremonies and stuff, and you were considered also sacred. Wait. Something happened. Okay. So here it is. Here is the huaco erotic ceramic that is from the Moche culture. Moche is in the coast north of Peru. And as you can see, well, there were ceramics, and the color, that red color, was made by a chinchilla or a chinche. That's a little animal that it's kind of brown and red, and they mix it up with the colors, and that's how you get all these colors over here. Most of it was only red, blue, and black, and the kind of brown that you're looking at. So for the moche, the homosexuality, it wasn't a problem at all. It wasn't an issue, as everybody thinks here. These huacos are not so common because most of them were destroyed by the Spanish people. Because when they came here and they saw that, for example, the virginity wasn't a big deal over here, that actually having pleasure, it was really important for them, that they didn't want necessary to have sexual relationships just in order to procreate, but it was just to be satisfied. And these are some of the ceramics that we have found that actually tells us a little bit more about the diversity that it was in the old Peru, old Inca place. So going and to this era, this is a really nice painter, and he's called Rember Yahuarcani. He's from the Andes and lives in Lima now, and he likes really representing this duality of the energies, basically. And if you see, everything is also kind of connected between all of it. So that comes from the time of all of this cosmovision of how we used to see the things here. This is some really special for me because I really like this artist, Barbosa Gubo. In this case, we go to the image on the right first. We have here a famous saint that she's called Santa Rosa de Lima. Rosa, that's the flowers, that rose, that she had. And also this person is dressing like a llorona, like it's like a crier. I think they have also this in Mexico. But here usually it is when there's for the Lord of the Miracles, they go out on the streets and they carry him, they carry the image, and these women are usually in front of that place, of that and start crying. And and this image is playing a little bit with the idea of who Santa Rosa de Lima was as a saint. The other image is in the Cathedral of Huánuco, and where these persons are seated where the priest actually sits. So I don't know how did they manage to do that, or how come did they had the church, the cathedral for themselves. But it's really interesting, and the whole collection of these artists is extremely interesting. And also you starting to see that for us the religion in general it's really important, but more than of the idea of the religion is that we have been so silenced because of religion, that right now it's a empowering thing to do, to just react to that. Christian Bedayan, it's an artist from the Amazonas. I think they live in Iquitos now, and they usually paint people from the jungle, from the Amazonas, and that's how you can see all these bright colors. And usually the bright colors are pretty much associated here to the taking the medicine of the ayahuasca. And we also have to say that the ayahuasca, when you are doing that medicine, the shaman that is with you and guiding you and singing the Icaros, he's the person in charge of usually taking you with these Icaros to the Hanan Pacha, to the Kai Pacha, and to the Uku Pacha. So you see all this, and part of the what you see when you have the ayahuasca are these really bright colors. And apart from the bright colors that are really neon, is you can see lines connecting each other, the people around. Uh, Usually, if you have some offers to the Pachamama, you also see the flowers connecting with you. So that's how come all these colors and these images come together. And usually, Christian Bendayan works and paints sex workers from the Amazonas. So Harry Chavez, he's an artist from Lima, but bases his stuff in also the part of this kind of ayahuasca experience in this moment. What is nice from this stuff in particular is that he's trying to get all the gods that we have here, that it's the jaguar, it was the snake, and the whole, he's using some it's not glitter, it's I knew the word, rhinestones, I think it is. So it has a really when you see it in person, it has a really beautiful shine, and it has some volume, which is pretty awesome. And right now what he's representing with these animals, it's a mask, and it's a mask that it's known also here for that it's called the Diablada, and that's the dance of the devils. But people start taking it the wrong way because they thought that there was just devils dancing around, but it's not that. It was supposed to be the devils that would keep people away and keep the virgin safe. That's why every February in Puno and in Cusco, you have this big party where you have these all these dances, and people take the image of the Virgin of Cusco and from Puno out for a walk, so people can see the Virgin. Okay, Lizzie Ramirez, I really like. She started with some fabric stuff, and she uses really bright colors, and she empowers women and the queer community also. She makes specific clothes, typical clothes of Peru, to diversity of people and people from the community. So it's really interesting also. So looking at traditional costumes and traditional costume for dance and traditional costumes in general for everybody. So I think it's a really important asset having to Lizzie Ramirez, and also For example, the dress that you can see on the right, that it's more than 5 months of work that she has done. And also, if you have the price for one of these dresses, it's like 350 soles, so it's 3,000. So it's like a little bit more than $1,000 to make this. And she makes it accessible for more people, for people for the community. So that's really awesome. Tony De Carlo is actually from the US, but his family is from Mexico, and he uses these bright colors also, and I think you can see the similarity with the San Sebastian, that it's an icon. And the interesting thing is that Tony De Carlo has really a lot of similarities to Frida Kahlo, and somehow in between all the paintings that he has, you can recognize much more people from the community being represented, which it actually doesn't happen, because also here with the machismo, it's even harder to try to explain, no, well, to do that. Fabian Chaires, also from Mexico. I really like the work of Fabian. And also it has something to do, as you can see again, with religion, with this tempting this old idea, this Catholic idea with what you got on your own space. That, for example, you can see some cactus there and some stuff that are regional. So it's really interesting, all that. And what I can say from if I have to make a conclusion about this, is that because we were so silent with the religion when the religion came here, all these expressions really are so powerful for expressing and for giving freedom to us. The colony still affect us until today, and it also affects us in different ways, in different amounts, in different and I think it's one of those stuff that is somehow always going to be present. But every time we get some more queer artists or talking more about what happened before with the for example, with the moche culture and this other empire, somehow it reminds us that we were powerful at some point, in some moment, and we're trying to take that power back. So yeah, that's why I love this subject, and that's why I'm wanting to talk to you about this. Yeah, and Jaime Romero, and the important thing and why I put it here in general, it's because it's a very known painter here that usually works with watercolors, and all the press, and he has a bunch of expos in the middle of Lima downtown, and that's usually does not happen. So for me, it's very interesting to see the work of Jaime, because it's just one more way to show everything that we have, and keep showing and keep being there and keep being present and visible. So yeah, now I'm actually done.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I'm going to go back to gallery view. Wonderful, wonderful. And I was wondering, does anybody have any follow-up questions? Oh, hello, Guti.
No, that, yeah, I said first 350 soles, but no, it was 3,500. Sorry. soles. So that's why it's like $1,000-something. But I'm not sure. But yeah, the dollar is crazy right now because of the new government. So yeah.
Uh, Excellent. Thank you for the clarification, y'all. And I see that Isa has her hand up. Hello.
Hi, Guti, your presentation was absolutely amazing. And I have a question about in Peru, is the Incas or Mayas?
No, in Peru, it's the Incas. And before the Incas, we had a different types of cultures also. That we have the moche, that's the ceramics that you've seen. We have the chimus, the chavin, and a bunch of others, but then they were pretty much conquered by the Incas. So the Incas are like their territory was from Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, part of Chile, well, almost all Chile, and not the Patagonia.
I
And
didn't know that.
excuse me,
I
no,
didn't know that. Yeah, the
yeah,
Chile
like
that was
the Incas were the biggest empire. Then you had in Central America the Mayas and the Aztecas. But the thing is that if you can see the territory that they cover, it was more Mexico, Guatemala, and Honduras, I think. But they couldn't reach necessarily to the jungle. That's why we don't have a big place here like in the Incas. They didn't travel that much to the Amazonas. They were in the border of, because they couldn't enter. And that's also something interesting because there was a place in the border in the Amazonas that they were the Amazonas, and there was this tribe of women that they were non-binary people also, and they had their own society, their own stuff. And it's kind of weird because the Incas never messed up with them, you know. Nobody had a really a big confrontation of anything. And of course the Amazonas needed also some trading and everything, and they will welcome certain men, you know, just to reproduce, and that also they can at the end all work out over there. So yeah, and that why I was saying that it was important, that map. It's because from the colony, if you see in Central America, it went, usually the colonizers were people more of that got also North America. But here in the South, why it was so hard and why the colony was also so intense is because we were big empires, big empires. So once again, they had to disappear everything, and they had to disappear art. They had to disappear, of course, the people, you know, but of course they couldn't do it. There's a big place in Cusco that it's the National Art School, University. I don't know what it is. That it has, and I talked to Crane about this, so I'm sorry if I'm bothering you again with this. But for example, the most of uh, the we pray to the gods of here, of the Inca gods, and one of them was the mountain that it's called an Apu. And the thing is that when the Spanish people came, they tried to just put the Apu away and just paint, for example, the Virgin, you know. So people what start doing was on the Apu, they start painting the Virgin, like the cape of the Virgin, but still the Apu was in there. So that's really interesting because you can see a lot of artwork that it's based in this mythological stuff, if you want to say, from the Incas that were taken and were intercultural stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Crane, you have a question?
Thank you.
So I guess I have two questions, and one is more of just like a really sort of like, I don't know, jealous observation. You had put, I can't remember the artist's name, but it was two like assigned female folks sitting like in the church where normally the Christ was. Um, yeah, like how the hell did they do that? I was just thinking about like even walking around like the cathedral near like downtown, nearly in Lima downtown, and like trying to imagine, like I want to like look up that story now. So thanks for sharing that, because it totally makes me want to learn way more about this artist and their process. And also, since you kind of got into like modern queer art in that area as well, I cannot remember the name of that musician whose portrait is painted all over Barranco. The singer who, like, no one talks about how she was queer, but she was super queer, and everyone in Barranco loves her. Will you talk about her, because she's amazing?
Yeah. Okay. So the first question, I think it's, yeah, I know it's going to sound bad, but it's the truth. Everything works here with money. So they went not to Lima center, but they went to Huánuco and to one other cathedral that I don't remember, but it's not in the capital. So basically they went there at night and start taking these pictures. They pay the guy that was the security, and nobody had to know necessarily, you know, like you recognize certain places. And they, even when you see the, when you get the news and you see the description of the stuff that they do, they don't even put where they did it, because they said that the person that was taking care and watching the place and whatever, and like the security, told them that please don't say where it was, because he was going to lose his job. So yeah, so it's something really under the table over here. So yeah, that's how it, and if you do it in a place that it's not Lima, it's easier. It's easier. And as you saw when you were here in Lima, we have a bunch of churches and cathedrals, but if you go to the other department, the provinces, it's like, it's more than Starbucks. So yeah. And about the others, in the Chabuca Granda, I would write it because, okay, Chabuca Granda, she was a singer and a songwriter from Lima, from like really the high society of Lima, and nobody talks necessarily about Chabuca. But for what it's really interesting is that she wrote like a bunch of lyrics that you didn't know that was from her, but that other singers were singing about that, and the love for women that she had. So it's really, it amazes me every time that I go, for example, through Barranco, that it's a little city that you can see the ocean from there, that you have this big picture of her, but you never see anything else like more description about her, you know. And already it was kind of iconic that there was a woman on the wall and not some dude that that did something kind of interesting, but not necessarily that interesting. So yeah, Chabuca Granda, and she has this really old walls kind of stuff, and it's really interesting. And if you have the opportunity to 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 listen to her, there's a couple of songs that I really like, that it's called Jacaranda, that it's the also the tree, you know, but the Jacaranda, all Barranco is full with those trees. So when you come like in spring, that we don't have really those different kind of weathers here, it's like cold or hot basically. But if you come here like on the spring, you can see like the whole floor with this purple, and we have another type of jacaranda that it's orange all over the floor. And she was singing about the jacaranda and her love, you know. And yeah, so it's a really, for me it's a pretty iconic queer person here, and kind of sad that not everybody knows who she really was.
Thank you so much. I saw that Pame had her hand up.
Yes, well, for one thing, I wanted to congratulate you, Guti, because I was so excited to see all of these different artists that I had not known. But I don't know if it's much of a question or as much as it is a comment. Um, I was just thinking about what you were talking about, syncretism, and um, the way that Spaniards came in and totally built monuments on top of our monuments, um, and the way that, you know, whatever didn't benefit the patriarchal um, shape of the ideas that they wanting to impose, they destroyed. And so because really a lot of our societies in the Andes are very matriarchal in that way. I mean, it's not and I really love to see the ceramics. And I don't know, you didn't talk about it, but I'm not sure. The shape of the ceramic, a lot of pre-Columbian ceramic were utilitarian ceramics, so they use them for something. Do you know if it was like it, because it looks ceremonial in the way that it's done? Perhaps it had to do with that, but there was the change in narrative is that queerness, I feel, was seen as a huge virtue, as an ability to connect with more of the worlds, and that an ability to facilitate the connection between the worlds. So do you know if it had a ceremonial use, or is
These ones in particular, not because of the shape of how they are, like these square kind of ones. The more the ones that are in that culture, in the moche, when they are rounder, they usually are more ceremonic, and the opening of it's bigger. You know, that's how it changed, because they put more stuff in it, and they should all drink it and make it all the ceremony. So that was not even something like that everybody was going to have in the moches. It was in these huacas, which is the ruins, you know, like the places of, but not necessarily for rituals. And yeah, definitely being queer over there, it was the best thing that could happen, because you could actually manage to assist in rituals, be considered a special person, like with more knowledge. So yeah, it's really great.
Interesting.
And just to finalize, I'm sorry my question ended up being so long. But I feel like even in our culture now, when I think of icons, man, I was watching like La Tigresa del Oriente today. And like all of these different icons, but seriously, how androgynous are some of their features? Even La Tigresa is very, very female presenting, but the way that they express their identity, their sexual identity, and their gender identity is so performatic. And I think of Ana Gabriel and Juan Gabriel and these in Chabela Vargas, all of these very important performers that are so important for our culture, and how it is a virtue to feel love in that different level. And I feel like even though we've been taught machismo and we've been taught, you know, everybody was kind of conditioned to think of binary ideas of attraction and gender. I feel like some of the icons, our biggest icons, are very performatic and are very embracing of queerness, which I really love, that to rescue that from some of what you showed us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.